Guys, welcome back to Kuma Reviews. We've been on a streak of just getting really good hot toys lately, but man, this one really just kind of stinks. This is DX9's Ancestrod. It's their homage to the T-Beast art book by, I don't remember the guy's name, but if you look up T-Beast Transformers art book, you'll see links to buy it and stuff like that. But it's based on his art. Unfortunately, these third-party companies, they don't pay him, even acknowledge him on the box or anything like that. But trying to give him some shine here, so definitely go check out his stuff. But again, T-Beast Hot Rod measures to, I'm looking about 8¼ inches tall, head to toe. When it comes to what's in the box, these two guns, these two swords, as well as these shoulder and hip pads, they all come disassembled. This is just his way of storing them. You can remove these guns. They have handles as well. We'll look over that. And it comes with two separate blasters. They can either be held on their own or connected to these. Now, I have a second one back here. We'll look at it in Alt Mode 2, of course, like every review. The only reason that I have two is not because I love this figure, but this one had a quality issue where one of the ball joints that the shoulder pieces pop into, it was like misformed. So it was like lumpy, and it didn't get enough friction for the shoulder piece to hold on tightly and it just free spin. So I changed out that shoulder piece with this one, which is going back to TF Source. I'm just using it right now. Help out with a review, not have to transfer it or anything like that. So giving you guys a roundabout here. Let me zoom out a little bit. Again, 8¼ inches tall. It's a really pretty design. And it does do some things well. Just the overall quality and whatnot that kind of put me off to it. So, articulation. Head's on a ball joint. Up and down. Can 360. Shoulders. Alright. Parallel. And then this is on a ratchet for some reason. It's not that heavy of a toy, yet it has these ratcheting joints. And it's okay for the arms, but when we get to the legs, I'll show you where the problem is. Bicep does 360. Ratcheting elbow joint, again, for some reason. Wrists are on ball joints, but the nice part is there's an extension between the ball joint on the wrist and the wrist itself, so there's a little gap there, so you actually get that rock and stuff like that all ways. When we get to the ankles, I'll talk about that too, because I wish they would have put them there as well. But fingers, the index finger moves on its own. That has a couple of points for articulation. The rest are just bent, and it gives you one of those guys. All right, no movement in the thumb. The hip skirts do move forward, backwards, and the hips do swing themselves to get around that as well, to get even further movement. It's pretty nice, and also for the transformation too. All right. Now the knees are, well, let's look at the thigh swivel first, 360. The knees, which grabbed my attention there, it's got like this weird double knee joint thing going on. And it seems to lock out of place a lot. I'm not the biggest fan, but it can extend to give you more. But it only goes to about 90 degrees there. But again, yeah, it's just weird. Now when it comes to the outward, there's some space in between some of the gaps. See how it has that like that? So, I don't know. That's a big reason why I don't like ratchet joints, because so many companies just fuck them up. Alright, so when it comes to the ankle tilt, not a ton of ankle tilt, which is unfortunate. And there is some gap between the ankle and whatnot. I thought it was because it was too close to the leg that it didn't get much ankle tilt, but no, it just doesn't have much. And then boom, boom. The toes do spread. Alright. You can put these down for more heel balance. Alright, just want to give you one more dead-on shot of Ancestrod before moving on. And again, it's hard to even line his legs up because of that gappiness. This just isn't a fun toy to really play around with. Okay, and looking at him next to some other T-Beast inspired designs. Generation Toy Gorilla, Neo Art Toys, Origin Leonidas. It's their knockoff of Perfect Effect, even though they improved the QC and all that stuff. And Generation Toy Red Bull. So 2 Generation Toys, 1 Neo Art / Perfect Effect, and DX9. Okay, and just showing off some of his weapons in action. Those 2 blasters on his back, there is a lever. It doesn't really work very well. I wish they could just go like flat on his shoulders or whatever, but because the way the lever works, it's either pretty much full extension or have them like out to the sides. There's not a lot that you can do with this, unfortunately. So that kind of stinks. I guess it's better than nothing, but yeah. Could have been implemented better. And of course, the 2 swords on the side. Now that's what I was talking about between the ankle tilt and the really spacey areas in between the ratchets on his outward swing. It's just not really fun to play with it in pose at all. A beautiful figure, just not decently made. Here is 2 swords. And just an FYI, I got some red on the end of one of my swords because of the paint from the forearms that they store in. I'm sure it'll just wipe off with some alcohol or something like that, but something to be aware of. Alright, and here he is, just standard walking pose. The 2 blades attached to each other. And one thing I got to give this toy credit for is its ability to hold its weapons. 0 problems. There are no like slits inside of the hand or anything like that for the weapons to peg in. It's just simple open and close, and it grips all of the weapons very, very well. Now, taking a look at its alt mode, I'm not going to do a lot with this one actually, because I got this one to replace that shoulder piece in the one that I have in robot mode. And when I opened the box, this one just had pieces everywhere, pretty much falling apart, literally actually falling apart right out of the box and this and that. So yeah, I'm not going to test it too much, but again, this is the alt mode. Go over the basics of the articulation and stuff like that and kind of leave it be. And it's really neat. It's a good sculpt, I guess. But just the actual build of it and stuff like that is just so bad. Alright, and these peg down. I don't know how these even got unpegged, but okay. Gonna work with what we got. And this is the shoulder piece that had to be replaced or whatever. And I believe this was like DX9's last new mold or whatever, so yeah. It went out with a bang. Alright, so up and down, sideways, no side-to-side movement or anything like that. The mouth does open, which is awesome. And basically, the tail moves, and the rest of the articulation is from the figure itself. So, I don't know why these don't want to stay pegged down, but it looks like they're just not fitting into the peg correctly. Sorry to have my hand in front of the camera, but that's kind of what it is. Get those guns angled upwards. Alright, let's see how that looks. And I actually like that. That back a bit. There's his alt mode. Alright, so again, DX9's Ancestrod. Final thoughts on this piece. I mean, excellent sculpt. I can't, it's an excellent design, but it's not an original design from them. They ripped it from the TB Start book. It's just poorly made. Like the ratchets, there's gaps in between them. Parts either feel way too loose or so tight that they're gonna break, almost like a brittle feeling. Like especially the shoulder ratchets that give it that roundabout, that I don't know what to call it, but that swing motion or whatever, front to back. I would not recommend this one to an enemy even. So those are my thoughts on it. Outside of just being a Rodimus collector that has to have like every single Rodimus toy ever, I don't really see the appeal for anyone to recommend this piece. I'll get the article up on kumastyle.com. Like, share, subscribe. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. Did you guys get this? How was your experience with it? If you had a better one especially, I'd love to know. It won't change much, but yeah. Oh, and it does have a opening cockpit on it as well that you can see right there, and apparently it fits Diaclone drivers. I forgot about that.